Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my weekly speech. The topic today is manage the risk and celebrate life. And for this event, I put my shirt with full of color. And today is the birthday of Mr. Julien Croteau. Maybe some people know who is Mr. Croteau. Mr. Croteau, I wrote a full brochure on him, which was called Wake Up and Avoid a Nightmare. He was the whistleblower to denounce that bad installation of Marley-SPX cooling tower. And I speak so much about that, I will just keep that aside to present Mr. Croteau. You know, it is his birthday, and I'm very happy. I met him, and I found what was the most important lesson that I received through my life as a professional in cooling tower. And from that time, I'm just trying to share it with you with the result that I just expect again. But let me tell you that Mr. Croteau was really misunderstood because his main goal was safety. We can call him Mr. Safety. Why? Because Mr. Croteau, when he was a child, had an accident with his brother. And his brother stayed injured from all his life. Now, sadly, is dead. But Mr. Croteau bring in himself, the responsibility about that event to the fact that he dedicated his life to safety. And what happened with cooling tower was just at that level because Mr. Croteau worked all his life in a GM plant. And there he was really worried about safety itself. And we know that in car industry, safety is important because accident is something that we have to avoid. It seems that culture, the safety culture, is not at the level as it is in the car industry, in the building industry. There, I think we find people about gadget, about, few things that, the energy efficiency or anything would just get the moment of the market to bring and higher the level of the sales. But Mr. Croteau, when he looked, let's see it once again about this cooling tower, he wrote to the rep of SPX and he said, it's your name who is sprayed on that. We are not used to work that way in GM. We need spec, we need instruction. And what he found is the answer from that gentleman, which was, I'm just a poor salesman. And this is a lack of culture. And that lack of culture, I can testimony. I am, someone who look at it, and I think the whole industry has to show that it's not a fact that we are only selling cooling tower, which is responsible or is a risk factor to transmit Legionnaires disease. And let me tell you about my own story. Here we are. 12 years ago, I was in Orlando for the ASHRI uh, Expo, as we have it yearly. And one day, I decided with the woman I was with to visit, no, to attend to a webinar, not a webinar, but a seminar. And the topic was about Legionnaires disease. And let me tell you that seminar was held by Evapco, someone from Evapco. It was showing about drift eliminators, how it helps reduce the risk to transmit Legionnaires disease. And it was very interesting because we were people from all over the world, as you know, listening to that. And the woman I was with didn't know nothing about Legionnaires disease. But you know, a few weeks after we came back from Orlando, she called me and said, my cousin has Legionnaires disease. And I was just laughing at her because I thought it was not true. But sadly, that was true. And a few days later, I went to the funeral home. And there I can say I had a meeting with death. And when you have a meeting with death, sometimes you get marked, by that. It print in yourself. And this is what it did to me. Before that, Legionnaires disease, I was working in cooling tower industry, and was a statistic, something that I know somewhere in my mind, but I didn't really care about that. And even I thought that was for the water treatment supplier, all these people, they were talking about that once a time. I even did a seminar, and the expert in water treatment just deal with that. And while I was just looking about the energy efficiency and presenting the technology of of cooling tower. This is my story. I think maybe it's yours. But from that time, I started to take attention, and I did a mission in that. And 2 days later, let's see, I have another background. So it's good to go to be outside during the summer. We are on a roof, like you can see, and you have the cooling tower just behind me. And let me tell you about this story. It is a lesson. So 2 years ago, there was the outbreak. It means like 10 years ago. There was an outbreak of Legionnaires disease in Quebec City, and a year later, the government adopted a rule for the cooling tower owners, and then I started to work intensively on it. But I had in my mind at that moment the experience that I bring with me about being a contractor and working in the field. And when I went there to adopt, a program, which for many people, a program is something written like that, a binder with full of proposition or procedure, and it's correct. But mainly, we have to prove that you are doing something. Like, let's see about maintenance. So maintenance cannot be done before you have an inspection. And inspection is at the heart of the art of someone who wants to prevent Legionnaires disease, because you can look, by days old and see in the basin. and even go up the cooling tower and look about the distribution basin and see if there is a dirt or a biofilm and also sort of thing like that. And because we are there, uh, in the field, because you can see behind me, right? Let's see, okay, right there, right there. You can see, we are just like in the, I think this is the countryside, we call that, where, because it is an agro food plant. So you can see like the birds, can have their, I cannot say it properly maybe, but you'll understand the shit inside of the water. And then you can find even a bird uh, body just decomposing itself in the water. So you don't have to wait about the water treatment and all these things. Then you have to clean the cooling tower. So this is why inspection, regular inspection is so much important. But to do it, you need to do it and have a safe access to the cooling tower. And look at this cooling tower. It's just up in the air. I just uh, like bid with someone how to do it easily. And you will see that's a real big job to go and go there regularly. So I prove to the customer that first, before, that will help them write a book like this, like a binder, a program. They should look to have a safe access to their cooling tower. And let me tell you, my salary sometimes is much more than money, because money, it's correct to have it when you work with this type of thing, but on the point of view of someone who wants to prevent Legionnaires disease, what we have to look is action. Action is more important than words and even writing, so action, I had it with this customer because a few months later I went there and I saw handrail, I saw stairway and everything that it was easy access to the cooling tower, and they did regular visual inspection from that time. And for this reason, this customer is for me a type of model of how we can prevent Legionnaires disease. So that was my lesson today. Let remind you that the name of it, let's see once again, is manage the risk and celebrate life. So look at it, enjoy yourself. I think you had the essence of what I had to say, and keep on. I will say once again, happy birthday to Julien, and I will remind him that one day will come that it will be understood and safety will be a rule in the industry, regardless of there is a regulation, a state regulation or not, because the head of the industry, of the manufacturer, let's see, who could be BAC, it could be Evapco, it could be even these people from Marley-SPX that I show from the beginning by my complaint that they are not respecting the main point about preventing Legionnaires disease and the standard, ASHRAE standard 188. And this is, a bad point, because those who are their customer, they are not educated as the way it should be. So with that point, keep enjoying and keep preventing Legionnaires disease and celebrate life. Have a good day.